Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Pawlywood Pawdcast. Two paws. Today we've got an animal that has paws. Do groundhogs?
We do have an animal that has paws. That has
Yeah,
paws.
they have paws. I think it's a little bit. They've got the little a little bit of a claw, but I think it's a paw.
They got pronounced upper teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you may notice there are a few things different this time if you're watching a video or if you're listening. Shannon is out this week. She is in grad school and has things to do. So she's on set this week and I don't know. She's busy. So
She's busy being a girl boss.
she's busy being a girl boss. Her spring break is soon, so we're gonna record a bunch of episodes then. But in the meantime, we have a special guest. Everyone say hello. Well, I'm Sydney, and then say hello to Jillian. Jillian, do you want to I don't know, give a little? Who are you? Why are you here? What's your deal?
Of course. Hi, I'm Jillian. I have been Sydney's friend for almost a year now. Almost a year.
Been over. I feel like over a year now.
It has been over a year.
Yeah,
yes,
when
right.
did we? It was like, when are you starting?
I was
did you
about
start
to say,
counting?
We've been friends for 10 years, actually.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yes. Our
And
whole lives.
literally, since the womb.
It feels like it.
It does feel like,
but it really has only been a little over a year.
Yes. Well, we both went to Cornell together. I'm still here. She left me behind to toil. Currently, I'm an engineering student. We were both in Delta Kappa Alpha, the Cinematic Society.
Shout out to DKA.
Shout out to
I'm
DKA.
sure lots of you listeners are from there.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed. And I've worked on Sydney's films, and Sydney has done the music for my film recently. Yeah, we just love movies. That's how we
movies.
We just love movies.
That's how we met. Jillian and I met 2 times in a row. I forgot who she was the second time. And we had almost the same conversation a second time. And then I was like, I think, I was talking to someone about this the other day. And you were like, that was me. So, that's about how meeting me goes. My memory is not the best. I also don't know how time works. I tried to get on this Zoom 3 hours ago because I forgot how time differences work. Not the first time, probably the third time this month.
So. It's daylight savings as well, so
True.
You could have also been screwed up by that. We just talk a lot about talking about time.
Talk about time. Yeah, segue time into our movie today is Groundhog Day. Jillian, I asked Jillian if she wanted to help host, and this is the movie she picked. I hadn't seen Groundhog Day in probably 10 years.
Wow, wait, really?
Yeah.
I watched this movie 2 weeks ago. That was before watching it this week. I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Amazing. How many times have you seen it, do you think?
Oh God. There used to be a feature on iTunes where you can see how many times you've watched a movie. Yeah. I've probably seen this movie on having purchased it, not on Groundhog Day, probably around 8 times.
Wow.
Twice
do you watch it on Groundhog Day every year?
Oh, of course. It's like
love that.
That's usually when I watch it. I don't know why I watched it 2 weeks ago. I was just like, I want to watch Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it was just a hankering. Just March, beginning of March.
I was feeling nostalgic for the first week of February, but I have distinct memories of watching this movie on repeat on the AMC network because on Groundhog Day because they would just loop it on
Oh,
the
that's
AMC
amazing.
channel. Yeah, and this movie has been I've probably been watching it for 10 years, like concurrently.
Wow.
Like this Groundhog Day is an hour and 50 minutes,
Yeah.
and like over the years I've started to feel every minute of it. Like
Mm.
when I was a child, it would blast right by.
Yeah.
Like, but now I'm surprised by when parts come. Like, we will discuss this later, but like
Hmm.
when he helps the homeless man, I always thought that was in like the first act, second act of the movie.
Oh
It is
no.
right
That's
in
way
like
at
the
the end.
last 40
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah. I
Wow.
was like, and I'm shocked by it every single time. I'm like, where's the homeless man? Like, what? We haven't gotten to that part yet. So I feel like I go through like Phil Connor's like whole situation.
Wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this probably since I was like, yeah, like 12 or 13, I feel like in middle school, because this is one of my Groundhog Day anecdotes. I have maybe two. um, but yeah, I was watching with my family, and I feel like I had to be in middle school because my sister was like young enough that she didn't really know swear words. And so
Oh.
she repeatedly was like, the groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, that's his name. Punxsutawney. And me and my parents are dying. And she keeps going, "What? Why are you laughing at me? Like what's so funny?" And we're like, Nothing, nothing." And she just keeps
Oh my
going, "What's
gosh.
so funny about Punxsutawney Phil?" So she had to be like probably, I don't know. I feel like she had to probably be like 10 or younger for that. So yeah,
Yeah, that's like I feel like
wild.
I'd never forget that. I think we I need a t-shirt that says Punxsutawney Phil.
Really? Yeah. So that's honestly one of the only things I remember about what I remembered from the experience before, apart from like the premise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
When
love
did you first watch it? Do you know?
I feel my first time watching it, it's really sad. I really remember like watching it the first time and like being cognizant of like, oh my God, the plot is amazing. Like I remember sitting there, this is probably one of the films that made me fall in love with like films and time travel. Just
Amazing.
and I watched it over and over again. I remember my house used to have like a green carpet, and I was sat in front of the television on the green
Oh
carpet
my
for as
god.
many replays as it had happened. I was just like, this is amazing. I was so like, apparently, I was doing a little research, and I know this film like the back of my hand. Other than the fact I don't know when the homeless
Yeah.
man
Apart from that
philanthropy
one
happens.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I I know a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff and stuff like that. Just because by pure virtue of the fact I love this film,
Yeah.
and apparently this film is like they didn't think there was like half and half. The critics were like, "Oh, this film is either going to be the greatest film of all time, remembered for eons, centuries, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
or it's going to be forgotten." And
Mm.
apparently now it's revered as one of the greatest films of all time. Like there's a
Wow.
bunch of sources that are like it's that just sing the praises of Groundhog Day.
See,
And
that's a lot better than Shark Tale from the
I
other
know
week.
I'm like, what a way to follow up. Like this is
This
like
is
a
our
slam
first,
dunk.
I mean, Puss in Boots, the new Puss in Boots is pretty good, but I feel like this is our first actual, like, well regarded movie. It's our first, like, movie from before, like, 2000. I can't remember what our other
Yeah.
oldest one is.
The concept is used dozens of times afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it's such a great just there's so many ways you can go with it.
That was
Like
something
and
I was
I
gonna bring up in one of
yeah.
the segments later. I can't remember what I put it under. All the different, like, especially recently, using it, like the idea of
Yeah.
the day repeating again and again. So we can talk about that later. But should we get into? I mean, first we need to talk about our outfits.
Yes, we do.
You want to go
You want to go
first?
for you? You're the host.
Okay, I'll go first. I didn't have anything like super fitting. I talked about last episode all of my really incoherent animal shirts. I don't have a groundhog one yet, just too bad. But I have this fun animal print sweater. It's got like cheetah and kind of like zebra, and none of those are groundhog prints, but groundhog. I'm the groundhog. I've got some like brown pants on. I was trying to do I tried to curl my hair with these foam, those foam hair curler things.
Yeah.
I did that, but then I didn't leave it in long enough, so when I took it out it was just wet, and now it's really frizzy.
Hey,
and then I tried to do kind of like little groundhog, like little whisker dots. They're little flowers, but
oh, that's adorable.
and then my little microphone. That's not part of the costume, but I feel like it needs a shout out.
Of course, definitely.
And what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Who am I wearing?
Yeah.
I know that movie too well. There's a character named Nancy. One of the few, actually, honestly, I'm cosplaying as Rita. Oh my god, I can't speak.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm cosplaying as Rita actually, because she has that little pink cardigan when she's in the diner. I think there we go. I did it.
Amazing.
I received a package from my mother in the mail last week that was a pair of pajama pants that are Groundhog Day and St. Patrick's Day themed.
Wow.
But I don't think I would have had anything to match them. They're green with a little groundhog and a little hat.
Oh, that's very cute.
Yes, I'll send you a picture so you can like put it next to me.
Yeah, well, like
I'll model them.
I'll edit it in.
There we go. Yeah. Little me in the pants.
Wow, those are so cute. Look at those the little groundhogs. Our first segment, the recap. So yeah,
love these names.
Thank you. It was all me. Unsurprisingly, a lot of late night texts to Shannon of, hey, here's a pun, and then like a go to bed.
Something that I looked at your dossier of your segments, and I was like, okay, I need to have something to watch the movie again too.
Yeah.
A new frame of reference. And so something I really paid attention to was the music. And the opening song, the overture, if you will.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that too. Was really good.
It's so, and so I don't know if you want to talk about this later in the music.
The music part, yeah.
The music part. But George Fenton was the person who did the score. I don't know if he did that song, but he did a lot of my mom's favorite movies. He did Center Stage, he did The Crucible, The Madness of King George, Hyde Spirits, Ever After, A Cinderella Story, like
a bunch. Yeah,
he's pretty accomplished. He did a lot of stuff, but that overture, I was like,
it was
how did
really
I not?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
it's an opening.
Let's talk talk our way through this movie. Recap time. So it starts with that. It starts with like we've got some clouds and an overture and the credits, and we're getting into it. And then it's Phil, played by Bill Murray. It's fun because his name is Phil and so is the groundhog. And he's a weatherman, like news anchor guy, and he's doing like his weatherman thing and talking
on
about
the blue
like
screen.
On the blue screen, because it opens and he's just kind of pointing at nothing, and then you're like, oh, he's a weatherman. He does the fun like, oh, the wind's coming, and like blows on the screen. And then he seems pretty over it. Like it seems like he likes his job, but he doesn't want to be doing it on this station.
Yeah, it's very much a persona. I was gonna you see they cut the news segment. He's talking to his to his co-host, and I've never like that's something I didn't realize. Well, I knew he was mean, but I never realized how
He's,
mean he was.
he's so much of an asshole for like the first 40, like 60% of this movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's like what? That's a line like such a funny like oh okay hairdo like like that's
Yeah.
like hairdo has followed me in my life, but I just in context he's so
He
rude,
really
and that's
is.
we meet Rita also.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, Rita's gonna go with you," and he's like, "I'm good." Like he's so dismissive of her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's fun, but not my kind of fun. Like
Yeah.
that. Oh, and then oh god, it's
So
that
yeah, then
line.
they go to is the town
Punxsutawney,
Punxsutawney?
Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So they're going there. It's February 1st. It's gonna be Groundhog Day. They keep sending him to cover the Groundhog Day. It's like what, his fourth year, I think he says.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah,
Yeah, and he's going, and it's him and Rita and
Larry, the
Larry.
cameraman.
Larry, who he's in Schitt's Creek, right? Have you seen
Oh, I
Schitt's
don't
Creek?
know.
I think he's the mayor of Schitt's Creek, Roland Shit.
I've never seen Schitt's Creek, so
I think he is. Because me at first I was like, oh, is that
it
Mike
is him.
White, who I looks a little bit like him, but not totally.
It is him.
From School of Rock and now White Lotus, but it's not Mike White. So,
He is the mayor of Schitt's Creek.
so yeah, they get there. He's like, again, kind of an asshole because he's like, I don't want to be at this hotel. Like, Rita makes it like has gotten him a completely different like bed and breakfast to stay in. Um, he doesn't want to go out to dinner and like hang out.
Yeah, he's just kind of an ass. You said it, kind of an
Yeah,
asshole.
he just wants to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he wakes up the next morning. He's like talking to the person who owns the bed and breakfast, and she's like, "Oh, are you gonna stay here?" And he's like, "Absolutely not. I'm leaving." He does this whole like weatherman shtick.
Yeah. He talks about the weather to her, kind of talks down to her,
Yeah,
but he mentions the fact that there's going to be a blizzard, but the
but he's like,
blizzard
"It's
is
not
going
gonna
to
be here.
miss.
It's gonna miss."
Yeah.
And he's a weatherman, so he knows these things. He's a
It's going to go
professional.
down to
He's a
Altoona.
down. Yep. So yeah, he goes, he gets to Groundhog Day. It's like, or no, he meets, who does he meets, what's his name on the way?
Ned
Ned. Ned
Ryerson.
Ryerson, who also is a person that I know from Glee. So
Yes. Yes.
Steven Tobolowsky, something Tobolowsky. There might be
I
another
don't
syllable in
know.
there, but he's there.
Yes.
He's an insurance guy. He used to know Phil. Phil really doesn't want anything to do with him. Steps in a puddle and goes to Groundhog Day. Um, which he's like, yeah, like very sort of bored through Groundhog, like talking about Groundhog Day, doesn't want to be there. We meet the groundhog, our animal of the animal movie.
Scooter the Groundhog. That's the actor.
Uh, oh my god, he has a name?
Yeah.
Love him. I was wondering if he was the real
He was not the real Punxsutawney
he's not
Phil.
the real Punxsutawney Phil.
He's an
That's too,
actor. He was playing Punxsutawney Phil.
he's a professional actor.
Yeah.
Is he in anything else?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like
I
there
don't know
was
what
news
other
that he
things
had.
have groundhogs.
I feel like he recently passed away, so he must have
Oh.
done something after to get him to be so notable. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like this is pretty notable, even if this is the one movie you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
As a
Scooter,
groundhog.
that's fun. As a
Yeah.
groundhog. I've seen a groundhog once. I saw a groundhog in real life. I was walking over the bridge from North Campus to campus at Cornell. and I saw like a blob in the grass. I was like, what is that? And it was a groundhog. It was brown and it was kind of little, and it was just hanging out like a yard away from the sidewalk. Really
That's
weird.
oh, I know exactly where you're talking about now.
Yeah, like by
I
that sign, kind of when you go to
Yeah,
the bridge. Yeah, I don't
exactly.
know why he was there, but he was there. Very cute.
I think there's a family out here because
Really?
I've seen, yeah, on the slope, Cornell Live Slope, there's a little burrow where they pop out of and they look around.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah,
I
in
wish I had seen that.
September. They were
That's
all
really
like,
great.
yeah. But you're right, they're like blobby and
It's
like
just so
almost
cool.
fluid.
Yeah. A beaver is also kind of the same vibe, but beavers have tails, right? Are they a little bit
Yes.
more? I feel like they're a little less blobby.
Yeah, beavers are definitely they got the tail. I think
The tail.
there's a line that's like kind of both, but not quite either. Um, there I was doing research because Bill Murray is in Caddyshack, one of my
Yes.
favorite movies, where he's also interacting with another furry brown creature, the
Yeah.
gopher.
The
And I was
gopher.
what are the families and stuff like this? So gopher is a rodent. Groundhog is more related to a squirrel. It's like a
Hmm.
marmot.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah.
I've never
But
seen
like
a marmot. I tried. I was when I went to Yellowstone a couple years ago, they gave us like when you went in, they were like, "Oh, do you want a map?" And then they were like, "We also have for children this like coloring sheet, like see what animals you could find." It's like absolutely give me that. And then we were like checking off what we saw, and I think we saw everything but like the yellow bellied marmot and something else, which
oh
was too bad. But I
well
don't know how you'd see that from the road, just like a blob,
yeah. Just
a brown blob.
scrolling,
So maybe we did and
smoking.
didn't notice it. Yeah.
It's like Scooter got the groundhog job. Never come back home.
Yeah. Oh
Oh, he
yeah, the
meets the
groundhog. He
groundhog.
meets the groundhog. The groundhog's there. He doesn't really interact with the groundhog. He's just like, that's the groundhog, and right, and he's like, and the
Yes, yes,
mayor's
yes.
like, it's the groundhog, and
Right.
oh, the groundhog saw his shadow.
And then they're all like, "Yay!" And
Or
then
no,
they
they're
go off.
sad. Then that's winter. Everyone's like, that's what. Okay, I don't understand the whole deal with Groundhog Day.
You don't know the lore.
Yeah, well, like it just doesn't. The logic of it confuses me because he goes outside and he sees his shadow. That means it's sunny,
Wait, you're right.
right? And
You're
then oh,
right.
he runs away and gets scared. But like, if he sees his shadow, the sun is out. So I don't. I've never understood it.
Me
Right?
living in Ithaca with all that horrible, horrible weather.
Yeah.
We did have a bunch of weeks after Groundhog Day where it was nice and warm and sunny, and
And
everyone
then
was
it
like,
went
Phil
back.
was wrong, and now
Now
we just had
it's a
a
snowstorm.
blizzard. Yeah.
Hmm.
So he may be like a premonition ahead, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or we could live in the world of Phil Connors and be like, what's it called? April 21st?
April or March 21st.
March 21st,
Yes.
thank you. STEM major. Not a meteorologist
Yeah.
though. Not
I was also because I haven't seen this in a while. I guess I expected the groundhog to have more autonomy. Where like I thought he'd come out of his hole himself and then and
Oh.
then react and like oh he sees a shadow and he would run back. Not like the mayor telling us if he's seen his shadow. Like
He
did
speaks
he?
groundhogese.
Yeah. The
It's like,
groundhog.
you know,
Why didn't the groundhog tell us?
what's it called? I as someone who just likes Groundhog Day in like a weird like this is just it's an American thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've watched the ceremony happen, like the real one,
I haven't
and
watched it in a while. I used to, I feel like.
it's adorable. The guy comes out with little groundhog, and they also the groundhog has no idea what's going on. There's
Yeah.
just a whole crowd of people screaming at
That's the
him,
best
and he's
part.
like, "What? What's going on?" And
Yeah.
they have like two scrolls, and then like the groundhog chooses the scroll, and then the mayor, well, the groundhog councilman reads the scroll,
Wow.
and it's like, he says 6 more weeks of winter. This is something also when he's like, the only people that speak groundhogese are like the council. I was always like, that seems a little similar to like old, like, not to bring up religion in the Pawlywood podcast, but like seems very so close to like, the priest speaks to God through with Latin, you know, and we're speaking to you in Latin, and this is what it says. You know, you got to take our word for it. You don't speak Latin.
The groundhog is God. Yeah, it is a similar.
Groundhog is
God. We're about 10 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
He sees the groundhog, and then like the next thing I remember is like he's trying to go back to Pittsburgh, and it's snowy.
Yes, he's trying to go back to Pittsburgh,
and he like gets out of the car because the like traffic control people are like, it's not happening, turn around. And I do remember the traffic guy being like, do you want to just stand here and freeze, or do you want to go back to Punxsutawney? And he's like, I don't know, because he really hates it.
Yeah, he considers going, and
he considers going.
Yeah, he considers just going. I'm trying to think.
Then he goes back. Then it's like,
right.
Oh, I think Rita's like, do you want to go to the Groundhog Day party? He's like, why would I go to that? That sounds awful. And then he goes to bed.
I think he goes to the bar, and the bartender says something. There's a joke that happens.
Yeah. I don't remember what it happens. There's a joke.
Yeah, I don't remember the joke.
He says
there is a joke.
Whatever
it's
is.
a comedy.
And then he goes to bed, and then he wakes up, and we get the song. The song plays again. You're like, something's off. And then the like radio hosts are talking, and it's the same thing, and like, this is weird.
Yeah, he thinks that they're gonna get fired playing the same tape. Because he's an asshole.
No, it's Groundhog Day again.
Yeah, he goes out, is in his hotel, sees the same people. They're all celebrating.
He doesn't quite. He's like, this is just weird at first.
Yeah, he kind of goes along with it.
He like asks a couple people of like, something up, like, oh, deja vu. This is weird. I think he really just like does like. I think he does the same thing again the second.
Yeah, he just kind of goes through the whole thing again, except he's like, I'm not leaving Pittsburgh. Oh no, that's the third time. Day 3 comes around. Nothing really happens on day 2. He's just kind of like, this is weird.
Yeah. And then by day 3, he's like, I'm just staying here. I'm not gonna try to go back. This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it's not gonna go to Altoona. It's going to hit Punxsutawney.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes to see the doctors. He sees Harold Ramis as the first doctor.
Ooh. Oh, that's I did not realize that.
Director cameo.
So yeah, he sees the doctor. The doctor's like, it seems fine. This might be something to talk to a psychologist about. So he goes to that. And he's like, yeah, I'm not qualified for this. I can talk about like marriage. Like I do like couples counseling. And he's like, oh, I finally got an alcoholic in here. Like he's like,
he's excited about it.
Checking off my bingo card. But he does not know what to do with Phil. And so he's like,
we can send you.
Let's talk tomorrow. And that's not helpful. Because there is no tomorrow. Yeah.
For Phil anyway.
Is that the day that then he like goes to the bar and hangs out with those two guys?
It is the same day. Well, that's the thing. I'm starting to think now that maybe the days are separated a little bit more.
That's what,
Like I have a
yeah, I'm not sure at what point time starts to like kind of expand. Because obviously, as we go on and he's like knowing exactly what every person says and like all those sort of things of like, oh, all of a sudden he has a new skill or whatever.
yeah,
Like, it's very clear a lot of days have passed, but it's not quite clear when that starts happening.
right.
I think it's that
I
day though, because I feel
yeah.
like he's still, because he goes to the bar, he makes friends with these two guys, you know, they're all just kind of stuck in this town in very different ways, but
Right.
and then he's like, oh, if nothing matters, I'm just gonna like drive this car through the park and like smash into stuff, and the police
Yeah.
arrest him, and then he wakes back up in the bed and breakfast, and he's like, are the police coming to get me? All right, like I guess not. So I feel like it is early on.
Yeah, definitely early on. He's like testing the possibilities of
Testing it
like,
out. Yeah, that's kind of the first time like, oh, he wakes up in like a new, like he goes to bed in a different location, so like he kind of gets how that works. He gets that there's no consequences really. Yeah.
utterly repercussion free.
Yeah, so then it turns into like that's his first kind of the first beat of I can just do whatever I want in like a
Yes.
fun way. Nothing matters
Exactly.
in a fun way. So he like uses that to get with Nancy of like
Right.
learning about her, and then the next day coming back and pretending he's known her for ages, and like
He
um
basically does the same thing Ned Ryerson does to him. I also realized that
yeah,
he
he
goes up to
uses
Nancy
that
and is
exact,
like,
yeah,
high
he's like,
school.
oh my god, Nancy, I know you. And she has a
Right.
similar reaction of who are you? But she like buys into it. So yeah, that's a
Yeah. And then they
thing.
hook up.
And then they hook up. And then he moves on to like he robs a bank kind of like he like knows who all he's times it out. I liked that. I thought that scene was fun.
Oh, I love that. He's like
Where he's just like sitting watching and he's like, oh, that's the whatever the cop's name, oh, that's the other one, and then we've timed it, and he counts himself down, like even being like, oh, like 5 4 3 car, lets the car pass. Yeah. So he steals some money. He's like started to kind of blow off his reporter duties, it seems, too.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of screwing around.
He goes to the movie
Goes
theater.
to the
He's
movies.
dating all these
Yeah.
women.
Yeah. And then at some point, this was also something I wasn't sure about. At what point has he gone from Rita's boring to I like Rita? Like, is it just like oh, this is a fun challenge for me to try to like get her to like me, or does he actually have feelings for her, like when he starts that part?
Well, looking something that I noticed, well, makes more sense to me now, like
Yeah.
versus being a child. He says Rita's name when he's hooking
I
up with
yeah, as soon as
Nancy,
you started saying that, I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
and I'm like, like I just thought we can talk about this later, but like just the romance and the implications of like
Yeah.
it's it's just like looking like on this rewatch where I actually have to think about the movie, to talk about it. I'm like, oh, it doesn't really hold up in
Yeah.
this iteration. We
And
will
this
talk later, but
later on, yes, but here when
yes,
he's like going after her and he is like kind of thinking, oh, it's romantic that I'm starting to learn all these things about her and
yeah,
like pursuing her, and then like finally when he's he's done really well, he's made it through all these steps, he keeps trying, and they're like he gets her back to like the bed and breakfast and maybe something's gonna happen, and she's like, you're so creepy. Why do you
yeah,
know that I don't like white chocolate? Like, why do you know all this stuff about me? Like, her reaction, solid. She's like, get
yeah,
away from me. I think she slaps him. And then we see a couple
yeah.
more times of like, she just keeps slapping him. It's not
It's
working.
so good.
Yeah.
Apparently, Bill Murray told her to hit him
Really?
hard, like for real.
Right.
And there was a point through all the shots where he was like getting really upset with her. So they're like, all right, we're done.
Oh,
No
no.
more. So I thought that was really funny.
That is good.
Also, you're right. That's the right reaction to have. Also, there's a point where Rita is like, she's one of my favorite things. She says like, I don't think I'm ready to share that with you. And then she asks him the same question. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really good at setting boundaries.
That
Like,
is.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, because what does he say? Like, oh, do you like want to have kids and like settle down? I think that was it was something that like that. And
Somewhere in
she's
that
like, I'm
vein, he just kept
not.
asking questions, and she's like, please stop.
Please no. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what after they like have eventually he gives up. Why does he give up
I
with her?
think I'm trying to think.
I don't
I
really
think
remember.
he just kind of gives up.
Oh,
Like they
at
have
some at some point he's like really done with it. Oh, he gets more and more unhinged with it. And there's that one where he's like
right.
the
He
snowball
lands in the
fight and he's
snow.
like,
Yeah.
this is a lot. And then I think
He's
the next time he wakes up, that's when he's like, I'm kidnapping this groundhog. I think
yeah, he's like,
that
I'm
like
done.
I'm done. This is
He
it's
smashes the
over.
clocks. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like he doesn't even leave the bed like at that point. He's just like, this is
Yeah.
it.
He
I'm
smashes
done.
the clock. He's over it. He goes and he steals the groundhog. And that was
Yeah.
also really fun when the groundhog was fake driving the car. I liked that.
Apparently, Bill Murray got bit by the groundhog
Really?
when they were doing that. Yeah. They were just
Oh
about finished
no.
and then he bit the groundhog bit him.
Ah,
Yeah.
the groundhog. I liked the groundhog. I thought the groundhog did a great job.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, so then he's like, he steals the groundhog and he drives his truck with the truck with the groundhog off the cliff. There's an explosion. Everyone's concerned. And then he's like determined to die. So then we get kind of
Yeah.
like, it's funny, but it's really depressing of like a suicide montage of like
Yeah.
toaster in the tub, jumping off the clock tower, like a lot of, and then it's like, I think the weirdest, like most unsettling part is when it's like, oh, Rita and Larry have to go identify his body.
Yeah.
Like,
And Rita's like visibly upset too, and it's like
and
that's
Larry's
a
like, he was good. He was a good guy. He's like not
yeah.
as phased by it.
It's like Larry has seen a
But
dead
yeah,
man
it's like
before.
traumatizing for Rita. And like, I don't know, just the repercussions of like when he dies, the date doesn't reset and
Oh
until it's
yeah.
the time. And so yeah, he's like really killing himself in front of all these people that like care about him to some extent. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah. I should have. I'm like I knew you see the movie, but I was like, oh
Yeah.
god, I think we should let people know. It's like there's a full suicide
A
montage.
trigger warning. We'll put a trigger
Trigger
warning in
warning.
the
Yeah,
in the description. It is kind of a lot. Yeah.
it is. And I think I like didn't as a child watching that, you're like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like
It's like, ha ha ha, he's driving himself off a cliff. That's so funny. It's like, is it?
in 2023.
Uh, yeah.
I mean, it does show how long he's been there, and especially
Yeah.
after it's clear he kind of likes Rita now. Like it's clear that he
Hmm.
definitely has a crush on her, and I think
Yeah.
after being rejected and
Which
slapped that many
so
times,
many
like
times.
despite
Yeah.
the fact like Rita's only known him for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Phil has
He's
probably
known
gotten
her
to
for
know
like
her.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just I feel that's yeah. At that
Yeah.
point,
I
he
don't
turns a
really remember.
corner.
Like, why does he stop that? Is he just like, it's kind of.
I think he does the Jeopardy immediately after that,
Oh,
and he's sitting there and he knows all the answers, and he's just kind of like
nothing matters in a bad way.
nothing matters in a bad way.
Yeah. And then
he goes around the restaurant. He's like talking to Rita, and
Oh,
he goes around the restaurant and tells
yes.
Rita how he knows
He
everyone and
knows
that he's
literally every
actually
single
desperate.
person and their whole life story. And then she like hangs out with him for the day, and it's like a decent day. He teaches her how to throw cards. That was another anecdote I have. I don't know if I've told you this story. Um, but I vaguely know how to throw cards. Not well. If I'm throwing like a whole deck of 52 cards, I can throw maybe 2 of them well. And so I was doing that at one point. I was like, it's like a game night. Everyone's sitting around. I'm not paying attention. I'm just chucking cards across the room. And I chucked one really hard right at Shannon's neck. Because I wasn't aiming.
God.
And it hit her straight in the neck. And it was like, nothing happened, but it was like, whoa, that could have been bad.
Yeah, if I was like, it was a little sharper, hit at the right angle.
So now it's kind of funny, but like,
in
now
the
it's like
moment,
a funny inside joke, but like, I could have like sliced Shannon.
Cut her arteries off.
Also, shout out to Shannon for being her birthday today while we were recording.
Happy birthday!
It won't be when this is out, but happy birthday. So yeah, it's like a good day. She tries to stay up with him because she like feels really bad, and like she's like, let's see what happens. And then yeah, he wakes up and she's gone. And then is that when he decides like, I'm gonna be a decent person?
I think Rita's talking about like what she would do with all her time.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of like, oh, but there's like, you could do this.
Yeah.
We could talk about this later, but like I think I may be getting my wires crossed. But like if this is one of my yay or nay questions, could we do one now? Just so
sure.
I'm like not biting
Why
my
not?
tongue. Actually, you know what? I'll change my question. But there's a musical for Groundhog Day.
Yes, there is.
There's a Broadway musical.
Yes.
I have listened to it. I have watched it. It is such a great adaptation. It's just done super well.
I've got to watch it now. Or listen to it at least, yeah.
And at this point, there's a song where Rita is singing about what she would do with all her time if she had it. Where Phil is talking about how he dated all these people. He's talking about all the very not so great things he's done with eternity. And Rita's like, I would write, I would read, I would learn everything, I would help people, and that's what kind of spurs him in the musical to be like, maybe I should try and be good. But I think he has a real moment with Rita in the movie because
I don't think he realized clear in the movie though.
No, it's definitely like said, what's it called? Show don't tell. It's shown in the musical, but I feel like it's more of an understated moment where Phil is like, Rita has just fallen asleep and Phil's like, you're so good, you're so great. Like he's realized like she's just a nice person and he's not.
Yeah.
And he starts to try he goes to piano lessons first. And at the beginning of the movie, like Rita's talking about what she wants in a man, and
is someone like play an instrument. Yeah.
And
so he goes to piano lessons, and he like starts being nice to Larry, and like, he
gives like really good reports.
Yeah, he gives really good reports. He starts just doing generally nice things, and really like making the most of his time. And like eventually, like Rita kind of notices that he's okay, or no, then it's the homeless man.
Yes, yeah. And I think he realizes something about time.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you go. I don't know where I was going. Yeah.
He realizes that like so I think the reason he tries to help the homeless man and like give him food, give him
Mm-hmm.
like he actually in the original script he becomes like so good at medical stuff he becomes a doctor and like
Mm.
in the original script there's like a teenager who's like brought into the hospital unconscious and then he follows the gurney into the hospital and he's like they're like oh she's having like a insulin deficiency or something like that something with diabetes
Oh,
and
interesting.
he's like no it's an overdose and like the nurse is like oh okay doctor and they realize they don't know who he is but like he's just answering like what it is
Yeah.
he's just become a doctor and I think
Wild.
I don't remember for a fact if the homeless man was one of the reasons he also knows all this
Yeah.
doctor knowledge, but he's trying to help the guy, but he just realizes, like that's that's just how time is. Like it's just the homeless man's time. So I think
Yeah.
that's also another thing that makes him realize he's been given all this time for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and then he starts to I think right after that he gives like this very like
Really,
poetic
yeah. And all of the
news
townspeople
report.
and reporters are like, whoa, this is incredible.
Yeah, they all have the mic to
Who
it.
are you? Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's when Rita's like, hey, do you want to get coffee? Like, you're actually okay. And he's like, no, I have things to do.
Yeah, he does
And
his
she turns him down.
philanthropy.
Yeah. And he like goes around and like he saves a fallen kid. He like helps out all these people. And then by the end of the day, like Rita's going to the Groundhog Day party and she's like, oh, should we invite Phil? And they're like, he's already in there. And he's like up there with the band.
Yeah, playing the
Like
piano.
jamming out. He's so good at the piano now. And she's like,
The teacher's there and
everyone,
it's
all
like,
the people
that's
that we
my
met.
student.
Yes.
Yes, you
And
see
it's
all
like,
the townspeople.
yeah.
And Rita is like listening to all their stories about how good Phil
They all
is.
like come up and talk to about how good Phil is. And yeah. And it's cute. And then it's
Yeah.
like the auction
The
where the mayor's like
auction.
auctioning off guys to go on a date with, and everyone's like, Phil, we love Phil. He goes up, and then Rita gives all the money in her wallet.
$300 and $339.88.
Yep. And then
Adjusted for inflation, that is $700 and $707.61. I'm like I had to see how much money she spent on him.
yeah,
And
wow,
that's a lot.
that is a
But
lot.
it goes to charity.
Yeah,
But
and
that
then
just shows
Larry
you
goes up, and Larry,
2 bits.
yeah,
Oh, I love it. And then the music, that part too. Oh, it's so funny.
yeah,
Something that
yeah.
will never happen in 2023. I don't know if they
No,
do, they don't think they do that anymore. I don't think
yeah.
they
I
do
mean, it
that.
was still I'm trying to like I've seen it as like a plot point in TV shows,
Yes.
but not in probably the last like 5 to 10 years.
They have one in Caddyshack too, which is really funny. But
It was such like a thing. Like I feel like it was in lots of. It's such like a country club vibe of like
yeah,
yeah. I
something
can't
that
think
would
of what it.
happen
Yeah,
in those areas, country clubs,
yeah,
weird Groundhog Day parties
yeah.
for charity.
But yeah, so then he like, and he and Rita like, oh, they kiss. It's nice. They go back to his hotel room, and then they wake up the next morning, and they trick you. It's the same song again, but then it like pans over, and her arm is over him, and it snowed, and it's the next day, and now he wants to live there.
Yeah, that final shot is like my favorite. Like it's like one of those things in my head. I'm like, I will one day have to make this shot. Just like
Oh,
them walking down the street together,
so
and like
cute.
the
Yeah,
camera stays in the one spot, but they're little people running about.
yeah,
Oh, it's just it's such a sweet ending.
it
It's
is.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know if
then
I would want to live after spending who knows how long there, and you know every single thing about every person there and where everything is, what like I don't know, that I feel like I need to get out.
you're like, I need a vacation.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe at that point, oh, you learn to love it. And like I would be curious to see what it's like on February 3rd.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that
Yeah.
different. It's just not the groundhog, it just isn't out. Got top dog. Any favorite quotes or moments? Least favorite or least?
As I said before, like the movie would just fly by for me as a kid, but now I think you can. I love how you can feel the time pass. Like the
Yeah.
movie, if you feel every minute of the almost 2 hours, which isn't like for
Not in a
any
bad
other
way.
movie,
Yeah.
that would be horrible. But this is like this movie takes place over like give or take at least 10 years. So
Yeah.
like feeling every moment and just the anxiety, not the anxiety, but like the pressure of having to repeat the same day every single
Yeah.
time.
If they
You
made
feel
Groundhog
it.
Day today, it would be 3.5 hours long.
Yes,
That's my
it would
take.
be like an art house
And it
film.
would be painful and nobody would sit through it. Okay, some of my favorite quotes. I thought it was funny when he was like, "What would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing you did mattered?" And the other guy's like, "It about sums it up." It's just the guy living there.
Oh, and
And then
then
I
he's
liked
like,
when he was like, "I'm a god," and then Rita was like, "A god." He's like, "Not the god, just a god, maybe." Yeah, I thought that was good.
oh, if there's so many little sounds. For your information, hairdo, Bill
Yeah,
Murray's great. Like top dog, Bill Murray.
Bill
It's like I
Murray.
don't.
Yeah.
It's just he's so like good with just being this you believe him when he becomes a good person.
Mm,
Like I do not doubt the fact that he will not be that he will be who he has become. Like I feel the character
yeah,
development. Like he's definitely
he does a
improved.
really good job. Yeah.
Yeah. Rita, oh, what's her name? I forget the actress's name. Andy McDowell.
Yes.
She's very modern. Like I can't think of any characters from that like early 90s, late 80s movies who are very, not sticking up for themselves, but are very
Yeah.
feminist in a way.
Yes.
She's a producer. That's another thing. Like she's there to do a job.
I thought my favorite scenes were when Rita shuts him down. That was good. When he steals the groundhog, obviously. I really enjoyed when it just cut to him playing the piano.
Oh yeah.
And then when he steals the money, as I was talking about earlier. I think when it cuts to him playing the piano, I don't know why that really got me. I like that.
I think like, oh, he's already in there, and you're thinking, oh, he's dancing, and then he's
And
just
he's just
on stage. That feels like something I would
yeah,
do,
it's really
frankly.
good. Okay,
Oh,
there's only the groundhog. What did you think of the groundhog's performance? I thought he killed it.
I thought he
He
killed
killed
it
it.
too. Scooter,
Loved when
we
he
love
drove the
you.
car. Loved
Yes.
loved how just like out of it he looked when they held him out. He
Yeah,
really captured the essence of Punxsutawney Phil.
he
That
did,
just
and I think,
groundhog that doesn't know where he is or what's going on.
yeah, they wake him from his slumber. I'm just thinking about that. Like, if I would, if like the legend, the lore, they
Yeah.
take him out from sleeping and hibernating.
I
Like,
feel like
he
they're
really
probably
does a
kind of
good job.
nocturnal,
You would, yeah.
maybe. So that helps with the like disoriented.
Just like, oh, I've woken.
Yeah.
Jesus, this light, shut the blinds.
Yeah, I can't imagine if someone woke me up at like I don't know, halfway through the night, held me up like Simba style, and just was
To
like,
tell the
"Tell
weather.
us the future," and everyone's chanting, like all these
Phil,
like
Phil,
aliens are
Phil.
chanting around you, and then they shove you back in a box. It's horrible.
Shaped like a tree stump.
Yeah.
You can visit Punxsutawney Phil. You can go and you can see him.
Is he how old do they live to? Probably like,
you can't talk about this. You're gonna get sniped by the
Never mind. I was gonna ask, how does it work? How is it passed down?
It's
the
same
same one.
Punxsutawney Phil. Sorry, it sounds like I'm part of the council.
He's
but
immortal.
He's immortal.
That's the answer. Okay. That's the answer. That's the answer I was looking for. I'm glad to learn that it is always the same groundhog, and that there's no replacements necessary because he's
immortal.
God.
Yeah,
he is God, as we mentioned earlier. He is God, and the councilmen are his priests.
The priest. Oh, very funny.
Next segment. Perspective. We've kind of been talking about this throughout. How did it I guess we'll phrase it as this for this. How did it hold up watching it now versus like what you thought of it as a kid?
It only gets better. Like as you mature and you learn about time. Like you're on Earth for a short time. Like when I first saw this movie compared to now, cool boy.
That's a really funny answer. Like
I'm glad.
You learn about time. Yeah.
What about you?
I don't super remember it. Apart from the Punxsutawney Phil bit, but I remember it being good. I mean, I think now that I know who like Bill Murray is, and I know how movies are made, and like what is a movie, and like somebody's writing that, and like that sort of thing, I think I liked it more because like that's, I don't know, someone came up with that, and then they made it, and like it's well made.
Yeah. Actually, I think I have this written down to bring up. There's a behind the scenes feature that I would watch as a child, and I rewatched it recently, and watching it just made me think, oh my gosh, just like when we filmed Sex Shop.
Okay, next segment. Don't stop the music. I mean, yeah, we talked about the intro song. That was great. I thought I think there's so many songs they could have gone with for like the waking up every day.
Yeah.
And I really liked the one they went with.
I agree. It's also like, I always think of the Groundhog, where they're like, just put your little hand in mine. And I was thinking about the little groundhog hand. Oh. That's how I thought about it for the rest of my life.
I think it works because it's like got that sort of like little bit of repetitive like beat to it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it's like wholesome in a way that would get really annoying if you heard it every morning.
100%. And I feel like the song that they choose in the musical, they wrote a new song to be the wake up song.
Yeah.
And it's basically like Punxsutawney Phil's theme song is the song that wakes him up every day. And
that would get more annoying faster.
Yeah. Like this song just becomes annoying. I guess also it's a pop song. Well, pop song.
Yeah. I really also liked I don't remember what it is or what they're saying, but whatever they're singing when you get to Groundhog Day. When like all the townspeople are like singing something, and I don't remember what it is, but
the Pennsylvania polka.
Yes. I thought that was fun.
The soundtrack for this film is superb. I have there's no real soundtrack for it, but there's a playlist I think on Spotify that I listen to when I'm just in the mood to listen to the Groundhog Day soundtrack, you know.
Yeah. Time for hoo-hoo. Like an owl. What actor would you add or cut, or like who would you recast, or like what do you wish there was more of, like character wise? Or I wish there was more Phil, the groundhog.
Oh yes, I wish there was more Phil.
Take Phil to the diner. Take him out to breakfast. Spend a whole day with him.
Take him on a date.
Yeah, bring him to the party at the end.
Yeah,
he plays the piano.
That would be. I think this movie is missing. It needs more Groundhog. It
Yeah,
needs more
it
Groundhog.
needs more Groundhog.
I just wish we'd see Rita more. Like something in the musical that they do is they show a little bit on like Rita's side. So you
Mm.
see that she also has a little bit of what's it called? She has a little bit of an interest in Phil from the
Mm.
beginning. She's writing in her journal in
Oh,
because
that's
she says
cute.
she studied well she studied French poetry, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
So so it's like they take that and they're like, okay, so she must be someone who enjoys writing, and she's writing in her journal while she's singing about Phil and like, oh, he's so annoying, but he's kind of cute, in a weird way.
Yeah.
He's an asshole, but but that's what they said he was.
Mm.
Um, it's just I feel like we would kind of value, I don't know, would we value the movie more, even more than people already seem to do, if we were able to see Rita and a little bit more of Rita's side and see if she actually.
Hmm. See, I'm torn because I feel like if you left sort of Phil's perspective, you would lose some of that. Like, we're stuck with him in this
Mm.
time loop.
Right.
But yeah, but like having a
I
little
have
bit
to
more,
say,
it's hard. Yeah, I'm torn.
yeah, because in the musical, there's so many different musical numbers that are not in Phil's point of view at
Hmm.
all, which
Interesting.
I know we're a movie podcast, but it's such a weird
Yeah.
and interesting way to adapt a film that's so stuck
Yeah.
in his
In one.
perspective.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the movie hinges upon too.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I don't
because
know.
there's a song,
I
the
think it'd
Act
be a
2
different,
opener.
if it would feel different. Like,
Yes,
not necessarily in a bad way, it just would be a different movie.
right. And I think that's what you get. I think that's why the musical is so good, is because it stands alone in a way.
Mm.
Well, it's kind of controversial to say that it's really good. So I
I
find
gotta
it
listen
very
now. I'll have
enjoyable.
to listen to it. I'll bring it back to the question I had that earlier was, if it was like rebooted or redone now, who would play Phil? Or any of the characters? Who do you think would
I
be good?
feel something I really want to see is Nicholas Holt. I feel like him playing an asshole, like a complete,
Yeah.
like I think he would go all the way with just being a really horrible person. I think it would be more of a punishment. Well, Phil's a bad person, but like
Yeah.
I feel like today, to make it good, well, to make it really like sell it, you have to make him horrible, like
Yeah. Like, you have to really
trolling
see the
people.
transformation and buy both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and I would just like, because Nicholas Holt, he was in The Menu, and I think
Mhm.
you've seen The Menu,
Yeah.
and I think he's so like uncaring about, not spoilers, but like he's so uncaring about anything, only his own needs,
Yeah.
and he would be that would be so fun to see.
Yeah, I think he would be good.
Who are you thinking?
That's
It's
honestly,
Phil.
problem is the people that I picked, I think they're probably all a little bit too old. Um,
Mm,
and some of them, I picked Michael Keaton to be in something before, but I feel like he could do this well. I feel like he's kind of got that range. He's probably too old
yeah.
though. But and then I just think Paul Rudd is fun, but I think he's too nice for the mean
He
part.
he
And
would
then
be
I said
yeah.
James Marsden. Again, a little bit too much of a nice guy, I think, but I think he could pull it off.
I yeah. I feel like it would be really fun to see him be an asshole.
Yeah, have you seen, because now that I'm thinking of, have you seen Dead to Me, where he plays
I
twins?
haven't. He plays
I
twins?
he's twins. Well, you don't know they're twins, if I remember right.
Oh.
I haven't seen the first couple seasons in ages, but I just watched the most recent one. But yeah, he's one twin, and I think the one twin kind of sucks. Like, I think he's kind of like a bad guy, and he gets killed,
Oh.
and then they open the door, and it's James Marsden again. It's like, it's his twin brother, and that's like a whole new dynamic, and that's like, he's a nice version of him. So I think he has played like an asshole before, but I think he
Mm.
might be good.
Who? Pete Davidson.
That'd be
Just
funny.
think about that.
It'd be
Like,
such a different vibe, but I kind of, yeah, that'd be
I
kind of
it just
fun.
yeah, just
John
imagine like
Mulaney?
I don't could he be I don't know if he would he was in Puss in Boot. He did play a good evil
Yeah,
guy.
that's why I don't know if it'd be funny. It'd be
It
fun to
would be
see what
very
happened.
funny.
I don't know how believable it would be, but I would watch it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else.
I almost want to think of a girl who could do it now. I'm like, what if you
Oh,
flipped it around?
April Ludgate. What's her name? Oh,
Oh, Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza.
That'd be very fun. Have you seen okay, this is kind of in my next question of like favorite Groundhog Day style movies. Have you seen Palm
Oh,
Springs with Andy Samberg and I can't remember who the girl is right now. But Andy
I've
Samberg
seen
wouldn't be
half of
bad.
it. Andy Samberg wouldn't be bad. I think he could play the. He
Yeah,
was
because
in
he's played like an
Never
asshole.
Stopping.
Yeah. So he might not be bad. But he did
No,
just
not
do
at
a
all.
Groundhog Day type movie. So
Well, that
that
would be
was
even
pretty
more of
good.
a
I
reason.
recommend that one.
I have to finish watching it. I've only seen half of it.
I liked that one. What were the other ones? Russian Doll. Also, I thought the first season was really good. The second season, I was not as big of a fan of, but not bad.
Mm.
And Happy Death
Oh,
Day and Happy Death
Happy
Day
Death
2.
Day.
All Happy Death Day was better than I expected as well. I don't
That
really
it's just
remember the second one.
yeah. I don't remember the second one at all.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but she keeps, I think, where it's her again, and she keeps waking up. But I think it's just not her birth.
Yeah,
Just
I
the
don't
fact that
know.
her name is Tree, and I've just, I don't know how to feel about that. Train. Where would you put a train in this movie? This is the first movie we've had where there's actually a train.
I was
So
gonna say, I'm like, you kind of
so
glazed
exciting,
over that in the
right?
first when we were talking about the
I forgot
recat,
that had happened. Yeah, the train
and they like he almost dies in that moment too.
almost
Like I always thought that
does.
was his first suicide.
It's
Like
not.
in my memory, no, it's not.
If you
He
had to
saves
put
himself.
another train in it, what would you do?
This
I
is more of
feel
like
like
a set design thing. Oh,
I feel like I just would have him try to get on a train to go back to Pittsburgh. That's the only thing I could think of like, why is he only trying by car? There's so many other modes of transportation. You
that's
could like
true.
learn to fly a plane and fly yourself back. I mean, that's a lot of effort. So
That is
like
a lot of
once you
effort.
figured out the loop to then go,
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn and like maybe that'll change things. Like I feel like by
but
that
you're
point
right.
you're not going to. But yeah,
There's a
he really
train
only
close
tries with
enough.
the car like once, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things you could try. You could just walk. It'd be cold.
Yeah.
It'd be long. You could bike.
Yeah.
Get like a
I didn't
tandem
even.
bike scene. Him and
Oh
the
my
groundhog.
god. And then they go
Put
off
the
the cliff.
groundhog in a basket on the bike or in a motorcycle, a little sidecar with a helmet for the groundhog.
Oh my god. That would be adorable.
All things that they
Scooter.
could have done,
Yeah.
but
I
they
was gonna be
didn't.
like set design, put like a model train somewhere
Mm.
and like do like a
He gets
fake out.
really into model trains and builds the whole town.
That
But the
like
problem is
what's it
it
called?
wouldn't
Beetlejuice
stay.
style.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
stay.
Oh yeah.
If it
Apparently,
would stay, that I feel like that's something he would have done.
yeah. If everything kind of if there's like how in Happy Death Day she has all the injuries, just the
Mm.
model train.
Yeah,
He,
you could keep
uh,
keep one thing.
yeah, apparently to keep track of the days in the director's commentary, they say to keep track of the days, they'll read books, like a page a day in the
Oh,
book to
interesting.
keep where he is in like time. And apparently he's gone through all the books in the bed and breakfast library.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
Have
how
you
many
ever?
paws?
We're about, yeah. How many paws? What would you rate it?
Oh wait, 4 out of 4 paws.
4 out of 4. Yeah,
If I
I
could
feel
give it a
like
fifth leg, fifth 5 paws.
yeah. I think I said I don't know what perfect movie I'm holding out for with 4 paws, so I said like 3.75. I don't know what the 4 paw movie is, but it's like a dog. It's just had its paw amputated as the rest of its leg.
Got it.
Yeah. Now it's your time to shine. Yay or nay?
Yay or nay? All right, it's time.
Okay, let's go. I didn't look up anything about this movie, so anything could surprise me here. Yeah.
I'm really excited. Also, some of the stuff I kind of like put in from memory that could be wrong, but some of it I did Google. But okay,
that's fine. So, I talk about things that in no way happened. Completely make up a story, and then it's like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. That didn't happen in the movie. I don't know where
you
that
just
came
made
from.
The movie better.
It's all good.
All right. Yay or nay? The original script of the movie used to start in the middle of Phil Connor's time loop.
Ooh, I think that's yay.
It is yay. The original script, it was actually about the original script. So not even the one that I've read through, but the original developed concept was that it was two guys stuck in a loop. And it started in the middle where, like, you know how he kind of predicts the car going by and the scene with the money? Like, it starts in that area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fun. I don't know that I would want that, but
yeah.
Again, it'd be fun, but it's a very different movie.
Right. Exactly. But that just shows you how good the concept is. Like, I would watch 8 movies. Like, you know, like the whole given a script, make the movie like in however many different ways. Like, yeah. Yay or nay? The movie was shot in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
I really hope it was, but I don't think it was. Nay?
You are right. It was not shot in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. It was actually shot in Woodstock, not Woodcock, Woodstock, Illinois.
Oh.
And yeah, basically they went to all the producers went to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania and was like, oh, it doesn't really look how we want Punxsutawney to look. They do the whole ceremony kind of far away from the town. It's not in the center like in Woodstock, Illinois. And the people of Punxsutawney actually are like, yeah, it's actually so much better than what our town is like. And actually, in Woodstock, Illinois, they have a plaque where the puddle was for when he steps in the puddle.
That's nice.
Yeah, there's like they have a walking tour where you can go to all the spots that is in the film. Yay or nay? There was legal fallout after the film.
Yay.
Yes,
I don't know what about, but yeah.
Shortly after the release, an author named Richard A. Lupoff, I think, he threatened legal action against the filmmakers, saying that it copied his original short story and the 1990 short film adaptation, 12:01 p.m., which was about a man who was stuck in a time loop. But there was another one where a guy unsuccessfully pitched not the same script, but a similar script about a man repeating April 15th to Columbia Pictures, and then nothing went into that case either. Also, this is a fun yay or nay.
Yeah.
So there are which is the fake international title of the film? So I'm going to say 3 international titles. Basically, Groundhog Day is only popular in in the United States of America, so they kind of had to change. It did not translate well.
Interesting.
So they changed the title. So we have Spell of Weather, Trapped in Time, A Day Without End. So which one's the fake one?
Which one is fake?
Yeah, which one is fake?
Okay. I feel like Trapped in Time is fake.
Trapped in Time is fake. So the Spell of Weather
makes the most sense to do. So I feel like international titles are usually nonsense.
Yeah, and so the Brazilian one is Spell of Weather, and then the French one was A Day Without End. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is no confirmed length of Phil Connor's time loop. Yay or nay?
I feel like they've given a number, but it's not like officially confirmed anywhere. It's just like, oh, the director or the writer was like, this is how long it was, but it's not like written anywhere. That's my guess. So yeah,
that's a
kind of in the middle.
yes, that was a very much like a
Yeah.
they've confirmed certain lengths of time for certain aspects of the movie. So like they're like 10,000 hours is how long it takes you to master a skill. So there's things like, oh, it took that amount of time for this, that amount of time for that.
So like
but there's no
adding
real...
it all up, but no real time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and I think also it kind of, I think Harold Ramis was like, the longer, like if once you put a amount of time on it, it kind of undermines the whole meaning of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yay or nay, Bill Murray's brother is in the film.
Yeah.
He is in the film. He plays the Groundhog Day mayor.
Oh, I have a fun fact off of Bill Murray's brother. I don't know if it's that brother or another brother. One of his brother's kids is really good friends with my uncle. And so like Bill Murray's, oh, maybe it's his sister. I can't remember now. Either his brother or sister. I met them at my grandparents' 50th anniversary party, and I've met the like Bill Murray's nephew too.
Play.
Yeah, I was at like my cousin's soccer game, and the like nephew was there, and he's like, yeah, I'm going with like my uncles and whatever to like Ireland for golf. And this was like kind of in the middle of the pandemic, not super, because like soccer was happening, but it was like in the middle enough of like nobody's really traveling. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't really realize who he was as he's talking about this. I'm like, wow, I wonder how he's traveling. And then my dad or my grandpa later was like, he's traveling because that's Bill Murray that's taking them all. I was like,
oh right, my god,
I forgot that's who that was. So that's my one. I'm like three people removed from Bill Murray.
Yay or nay, there is a Indian remake of Groundhog Day.
Yes, but I bet it's a different holiday. Yay.
Nay, it's actually an Italian remake of Groundhog Day.
It's like there's gotta be some
and
remake.
I just want. Yeah, there has to be something that is.
Was it a different holiday?
It's.
Or was it Groundhog Day by Italy?
I feel like it would be a different holiday, but the remake is called It's Already Yesterday, and the plot has been changed. That the loop isn't February 2nd; it's August 13th. But I do not know the significance of August 13th.
Interesting.
But Antonio Albi, I can't. I'm butchering this man's name, but he plays a TV personality doing a story on a stork in the Canary Islands rather than a groundhog on in Punxsutawney.
That's good.
I just can't imagine like a stork just like, oh, there he is predicting the weather.
It's a stork. Riveting news.
Yeah. Yay or nay, one of the original scripts had Rita experience the time loop as well.
Yay.
But yeah, one of the first scripts originally had Rita at the end, like, have the same relief of being in the next day as Phil.
So kind of like the Palm Springs style.
Right,
like
exactly.
They both, like, do they start at the same time, do you know? Or is it like she joins him eventually?
It would only make sense in like this case if Rita joined him eventually.
Yeah.
Because that's
how Palm Springs works.
Oh. Yay or nay, there is no Groundhog Day sequel.
I think there is one. So there's no sequel, so nay, there is a sequel?
There's a video game, a VR video game that was released in
that was
September
not what
2019.
I was gonna guess. I don't know what I was gonna guess, but not that.
Yeah, I learned about this probably like in 2020 or like 2021, around Groundhog Day time. But basically, it's called Groundhog Day, like father, like son, and it's for virtual reality, and the game casts you as Phil's son, Phil Connors Jr., who has grown up in the shadow of his father in Punxsutawney, and he becomes trapped in his own time loop in Punxsutawney. And I'm like, I've never played it, so I don't know like what you're supposed to learn. But I really like the idea of like, oh God, I've been growing up in this town for years and I hate it. And then like someone growing to love their hometown because they're forced to stay in it for the same day.
I'm curious how that's a game. Like I could see that as a movie. But as a game, I'm confused.
I feel like it's one of those like point and click like have you ever played like Sam and Max, Freelance Police? Like those games are very narrative based, and like if you it's more like you're the character who's in there like
that
playing.
Would make more sense. Yeah. You know. Well, now we just have our fun little grand finale wrap up. Will we recommend the movie? Yeah, go watch it. It's a fun time.
100%.
We also would use this to announce the next movie, which I don't know what it is because we didn't pick one yet again. Hello everyone. It's Editing Sydney, your fave. Here with Plate and the Snake. Say hello. Announcing the movie for next week. We will be watching, drumroll, Love on a Leash. Surprise! It's a movie a couple of our friends have been requesting, so maybe they'll be on as guest hosts, maybe they won't. We have yet to ask them, but we will soon. But yeah, Love on a Leash. It's a rom-com from 2011 where a woman falls in love with a dog who becomes a man at night or something like that. I don't know. It looks like a time. I haven't seen it. I don't think Shannon's seen it, so that will be exciting to see something older that neither of us have seen. But yeah, back to the video.
Woo! Yeah, oh my, that's such an exciting film.
Isn't it?
I can't wait to hear it.
I've seen it before and it's so fun. Hopefully it's something.
The animal
is
adorable.
Kills it. So good. I don't know what it's gonna be. We have such a long list of things that we eventually could do, and then people keep sending us things, and then like then we're at some point we're like, oh, we should go see something that's in theaters. Or I don't know.
Well, you've done Cocaine Bear. So.
We did do Cocaine Bear. Well, I guess. But yeah, let's wrap it up. I'm so curious.
Let's wrap it up.
I have been all over the place with this little microphone. I'm so curious to listen back to it and see if I get really loud and then really quiet and then it's just like deafening. Yeah.
Oh wait, do you do like an outro? Do you have like a?
Oh my god, yeah. Do you have any ideas? Because we have yet to come up with an outro. Every single time, it's worse. It's worse and more uncomfortable and awkward. Shannon and I were texting about this last night. Of like, we get more like we get better and worse at this every time. We're like we get more comfortable and like better at talking, but the intros and the outros get way worse every single time. It's like exponentially more uncomfortable because we don't know how to end it. Like we want to come up with some kind of sign off, but we haven't settled on it yet.
Well, you know, subscribe to the Pawlywood Pawdcast.
Yes, follow us on Instagram. I think that's what we said last about the goose again.
Oh, I don't have a fun animal.
I don't have a groundhog.
I have my plant. So. Oh, I can't grab my plant right now.
I kept bringing my little jellyfish into the frame as we were going, but
you know what? I'll bring my plant. Oh,
let's see it. That's so much bigger than I was expecting. I was expecting like a little succulent.
No, I don't have a name for it. We'll name it Audrey 3. A movie reference.
I feel like this is a good frame to end on, me with the goose and you with the plant. So goodbye.
I think so too. Subscribe to the Pawlywood
subscribe. I'm trying to think of a
Pawdcast.
fun goose pun to end on.
Follow me at Jillian_Perino.
Oh yeah, there you go. Follow Jillian. We'll tag her
See the fun stuff I'm doing.
in our posts. Oh, what is a goose pun? I'm struggling now.
Hold on.
The only thing that's come to mind is honk if you like movies.
I like it.
That's
honk
not
if
good.
You like movies. Oh, what's a plant one?
It's time for us to leave.
It's honk if you like movies. It's time for us to leave. I think you should say it. You're the host of the podcast.
It's honk if you like movies, and it's time for us to leave. Goodbye.
Bye.